Hey guys, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey everybody.
And we got all kinds of cool stuff going on today. Cody, tell me, you wanted to tell me about Karen.
Yes.
And I've been refusing to look it up and Google it ever since you mentioned it earlier.
Well, this is an ongoing controversy. Came to a bit of a head, I guess you would say, in the last few days. So that'll be fun to talk about. Because, of course, we saw a title. We're going to a little game. I'm going to see how long we can go without mentioning current event. And anyway, so this is an idea, and I'll get to for a while. This has been bothering certain individuals for a while, but this notion of using the word Karen as a substitute for a particular kind of individual, it's found a nice substitute for like when you the kind of like, can I speak to your manager jokes?
Yeah.
For those kind of people. However, certain individuals are not taking this very well. So I just want to walk through first of all.
Yeah, and let me guess, they're all the Karens of Twitter.
That's kind of the bitter irony,
Friends
right?
of Journalism, I see this as basically a Twitter group of a bunch of Gen X, white, liberal, nor'eastern, wannabe journos, okay, who really hate the fact that they are not everything they wish they were, that is embodied by the term Karen, and they've been called Karen a million times, and the self-loathing is now turning outward, and they're doing what they do best, demanding that big tech companies outlaw the word.
Exactly. It got to the point where they were, but this is what I wanted to go to, for some more context, because the Karens are the one. By the way, I have to admit, this is a reporter, Yashar Ali. I'm probably pronounced the name wrong too. Anyway, though, he posted his exchanges. Whenever he mentions the thing about Karens, he gets something in his comments. But I wanted to, I guess, if I'm going to represent the Karens here as their defense, there's an interesting point made in here I want to walk us through. So,
okay.
Alleged text messages of Charlie. He says he receives these text messages every time he posts stuff about Karen memes. By posting your Karen meme post, you just made it worse. You did. Read the comments. I'll explain how I've never heard about the stupidity before, which means with every post or retweet, you are responsible for either making innocent people feel targeted or others exponentially powerful in spreading what you pretend to be sensitive about. And actually, you are mocking. I'm not kidding. My personal disappointment in you is at its highest level. I would never spread comments on your name, religion, nationality ever. Take one innocent tweet to start. Think, Ali, think. And she got him later with a broken heart. Now, this is where it gets interesting. She says, I got threatened to be set on flames today because of my name. And you think this is a joke. Hold on. She says, you have 600,000 followers, so I guess the money you make supersedes your morals. You're doing it for the click. It's on your hands now, blood emoji. Oh, sorry, that was below. Let me post it, guys. It's on your hands now, blood emoji. In reference to, I guess, her blood being on his hands. So that sounds a little bit.
This is getting intense.
A little bit ridiculous, right? But
yeah,
listen to this though. This is the thing. There's some dumb stuff in here, but that last line's interesting. She says, so why does the Karen thing bother you so much? White people can't be offended? Yeah, it's stupid to be offended by anything, but still, people can feel how they'd like. That's always one of those interesting things I always wonder with. Like, even if it's dumb, like, cause I feel bad when I'm like, I always feel bad for people when I'm like, kind of like, you know, like making fun of her. But there's a point where it's like, yeah, it's stupid. Like, demanding Twitter ban Karen because it's like the N-word is
the what about the women who are legitimately
no one
named
says the
Karen?
K-word, right? Yeah, well, exactly. But here's the funny thing. There is a little bit.
I have an Aunt Karen.
But there is a shred of legitimacy, right? To like, even if it's irrational, that thing bothers me. And that's how I feel. That's a real thing. And in a lot of instances, maybe a little bit less irrational, but in a lot of instances, people do accept that and say, "Hey, I don't get it, but if it bothers you, whatever. I'm not gonna fight you on it." Now, I think the absurdity of this one is why, but I don't know. I thought it was an interesting defense.
You know, do you think it'll gain any traction, Cody?
Well, in what sense? I don't think.
Do you think they'll get away with it? I mean, Twitter is odd in what complaints they choose to field and which ones they don't. And we know they're wildly biased. Okay. I mean, we completely exposed that a year and a half ago in the YouTube Yubiverse. Is that a word? The Yubiverse. Oh. I mean, come on. There was the infamous Tim Pool and Joe Rogan with Jack Dorsey and his
bias, but there's also like
his
Twitter,
lady podcast.
Twitter did like they have a certain like I guess bias or like they do things a certain way. It's like I don't know. I guess it feels like bias depending on where you're sitting, but to me it's like there's some stuff I know for a fact. Like, you're gonna put that on Twitter? No way, no how. But there's some stuff where I'm just kind of like, yeah, Twitter allows that. I don't know why. You're allowed to threaten to set Karen on fire on Twitter. You really are.
Yeah.
Like, don't ask me what that bias is.
Do you think they'll get away with it, though?
I 1000% believe this person when someone says that she got threatened to be set on flames today because of her name. Because you're allowed to do that. I don't know, man. That's the rules of the platform. There's some platforms you're allowed to say some things, you're not allowed to say others. Is it right or wrong? I don't know. Probably not good. I don't like it. But I don't know. What do you think about? Because I don't agree that anyone...
Like, my leukemia is called the Philadelphia chromosome. I mean, you don't see, like, the city of Philadelphia lobbying to have, the word Philadelphia not allowed to be used on Twitter because it's negatively connotated.
I don't think negative connotation is the...
I mean, Karen, so what?
There's
it embodies...
a lot of words with negative connotation.
Okay, actually, if you look up Karen on the Urban Dictionary, I don't have it right now, but I remember the first term I looked it up in... the Urban Dictionary, I remember it said like and hides her racism, behind slogans like "My best friend is black." You know what I'm saying? I think that was the definition the Urban Dictionary said of the term Karen, and they specifically targeted. It said like a Gen Xer that acts just as badly as a boomer. And you know what I'm saying? Like, there are a bunch of really, really hilarious definitions that I was reading. But I just remember that was like the number one definition. And so I'm just wondering, like, do you think it'll go somewhere? Is that going to be like the new thing we're not allowed to say?
No. But evidenced by 233,000 people have voted in this Twitter poll at 90. No, it's ridiculous. No. I just thought it was funny. It was one of those things where at the surface level, I read it and I laugh. No, I don't think Karen is a sexist and racist slur. You know what the difference is?
Also,
like I said, you don't have to hyphenate K words when you say Karen. That's how you can tell it's not on the same level. It's always hilarious to me when someone says, like, this word that I'm proudly saying in public is just like this word I have to refer to by its starting letter because it's just ridiculous.
Well,
anyway,
also, we have to say that, I mean, the N-word has a historical bias behind it.
My point, exactly.
The K-word completely
there
lacks.
There is no K-word, okay? It's Karen.
Well, we can't say the P-word. You can't say polygamist about Mormons. No, Mormons get jokingly called polygamist all the time. So I demand that Twitter takes it down and quit calling me the P-word.
I'll tell you what, you guys got to get off Twitter if polygamist is the worst word you hear about Mormons. Like, thank God you aren't on Twitter more than that. The worst you hear is polygamist. I think a much better words for you people than that.
For you people.
But no, I just...
what do you people say about my people?
I just thought it was interesting because in any situation like this, I always do think it's interesting because even though it's like, from where I'm sitting, I mean, that's absurd and stupid. It's like Karen's a racist slur. I think racist is funny. Maybe sexist, but racist, even sexist is kind of weird. However, there is people that legitimately get bothered by this. Are we just to say, to hell with them, they're dumb? I don't know. It's weird.
I thought it was generational. I never got the insinuation that it had to be a white chick. I always just thought it was like a generational thing. Just a stupid Gen Xer.
No, you know what? That's why...
I always thought it was a generational thing.
No, it's not what it is.
Okay.
I mean, it's a little bit, but not really. It's just like it's
is that just me being far too benefit of the doubt?
I think you're putting way too much weight into those random definitions you pulled up off Urban Dictionary. No, it's more like I said.
This is how we connect with the young.
Karen,
this is how we elder millennials connect. Urban Dictionary.
You use "we" a little bit more deliberately there, but no, I would. It's the bigger thing is it's kind of like whatever. If you like I said, I think it's a great way to describe the type of person who's like can I speak to your manager? Like a female with a. I don't know, there's a word like self-important, condescending. The kind of person
self-important.
The kind of person who gets upset and demands that you have to ban that word off Twitter because how dare you comment. But again, I don't know. I have a bit longer talking about it, the side tangent, but that it's just one of those moments where when when Karen says that this journalist's blood is on his hands, I kind of bristle. But when they say this and they say, look, people can feel how they like. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where I or anyone else would say, no, they can't. Like hell they can.
Yeah.
Like hell you could be bothered. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of weird to say, no, you aren't. However, I do say the line kind of gets drawn where I'm not going to change my language about it. I might think twice, though, about needlessly. If someone pisses me off, all right, Karen, right? But I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where now when it's on the borderline, I'd err because, I don't know, lots of stuff like that. Same time, it's ridiculous and goofy, but every now and then I kind of get caught off guard by something like that. And I'm just like, weird.
So look at this.
Again, the blood on my hands might be the funniest thing I've seen today.
The chupacabra.
My blood is on your hands. That's
Chupacabra 22. says, I find it interesting that the emotional/mental, quote, abuse, end quote, that the Karen meme seems to have more outrage than the physical Kyle punching a hole in drywall meme. Ooh, I don't know the Kyle punching a hole in drywall
Well, okay, I'll
meme.
show you the differences. The difference between those two memes is this. Where is it? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. Like I don't think people.
Well, while you're finding it, can I
don't
read some
get-
other quotes or read some other
Oh,
comments?
please. Yeah.
I was going to say Eco Thunderbolt says, I like how Cody and Cardinal always dress like they're in opposite seasons. That's partially true. I just have more fat because Cody works out like cray-cray. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
anymore. Not since nothing happened. Hold on. We're talking about
Cody has
other
family
stuff.
members who are personal trainers who will mock him if he doesn't have a six-pack. So he feels that he has to. Okay, so that's a little bit of an overstatement. But you do have family members who are personal trainers. And there's an ethos of health in his family that may not exist in mine. So I just have a little bit more fat that keeps me warm. I got the warm winter coat. But I'm still working. So you know what I'm saying? Let me see here. We got another one. It's DVJ461 says, if you guys do the conspiracy channel, please talk about the JFK thing. LOL. Just watch the movie. Which one? I think he means JFK made in 1993, if I'm not mistaken, or 1992. And
Talking about a zeitgeist.
no, not Zeitgeist. The
Remember
JFK
that?
movie with Kevin
Zeitgeist is
Costner.
kind of like Zeitgeist.
That was a YouTube movie, right? Wasn't
Nah,
Zeitgeist a YouTube film?
It was on the. I think that really does feel like one of the big first. One of the, not the first. That was one of the earlier kind of like, I feel like with the internet, things have different blooms, so different seasons.
Yeah, it was one of the first
that was
big
one
internet
of the big
movies.
blooming seasons for conspiracy theories. I think that movie, if people haven't seen the film Zeitgeist, the documentary, it's about a few things. 9/11 is an inside job. Jesus isn't real. And what was the other one? Jesus isn't real. And I think the global economy is going to collapse. 9/11 was an inside job, and atheism became a humongous rising trend on YouTube for years after that. I think there's so many. God, who was it? There's somebody. I was surprised. I was listening or reading, and it was like, what was one of your biggest influences? And I forgot who it was. Someone just like someone I did not think of me as like a conspiratorial person. Just straight up was like, oh, I watched this Zeitgeist documentary. It really got me into this, and I was like, what? Anyway, to get back to the thing, the difference between the Karen meme and I guess you'd call it the Kyle meme. The difference between like. For example, using that's one of my favorite memes. Whenever just posting the picture with the hole in the wall and something like that. I think the reason why is for whatever reason, I don't know. I feel I'll admit I remember I punched a hole in my wall once because the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team I'm not even that big of a fan of, blew a big lead to the Dallas Mavericks because the Dallas Mavericks beat the Lakers that season, I think, and I was upset. So I punched a hole in my wall, and I was like 19 or something. So, like, I think that's the difference. Is like there's way more people that like get defensive about that. I don't know, a lot of guys seem much more open to just be like, nah, yeah, I punched a hole in a wall. What the hell? As opposed to like defensive about it. Like, nah, it's real. It is what it is. So, I don't know. I think that it took me a while to dig up this tweet from back when Yang dropped out, but. That's why I think that's the difference. That's why some people some people think the Karen meme's offensive. You don't really hear that being brought up so much for the Kyle meme, I guess. I think because the meme of guys punching holes in walls is just not even a meme. Like I said, I literally remember doing it. Like a lot of people punch holes in walls, so it's I don't know. I feel like it's that's just my
Do you want to
personal
talk about
stance.
your feelings, Cody?
My personal stance. I told you exactly what happened. I was mad that I was like 19 years old. And
How did that make you feel?
I remember it. I remember the Oklahoma City Thunder had like a 20-point lead, I think, or like a 17-point lead, and this was way back when they had Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, and they were like high-fiving and dancing, and it was like the third. I think it was like halftime, third quarter, and I was like, if they're partying around 15, they blow this. I'm gonna be so mad.
Yeah,
I forgot who scored, but I remember like when the Mavericks took the lead, I got really mad and I just punched the wall. So I think that's the thing. I have no problem explaining that to you. I think a lot of people you would call a Karen wouldn't just sit here and gladly recount tales of berating an employee at Lowe's because she wanted to return something you couldn't return. You know what I mean? I think that's the difference. That's just my take on it. I just thought it was funny you brought that up.
So we got some other comments here that I was wondering if what's it called? If you could speak to. Dad Isn't Mad asked, did you guys hear about Rose McGowan going full Karen on Alyssa Milano?
Oh, I can start trying to pull some of that stuff up right now. Yes. Well,
this is called full Karen,
Alyssa Milano.
not a partial Karen. It's like in wrestling where you have the full Nelson versus the half Nelson. No, sorry. half Nelson versus the full Nelson. So there's the full Karen versus the half Karen. Okay. And we also have a request for P90X and a Cody strip stream.
Hold on one second.
I'm offended nobody asked for a Cardin strip stream.
Just to go back to the previous picture, that was not a picture of me punching a hole in the wall. I guess I should have explained that better. That's actually like a meme that goes around a lot on the internet, where people will post that specific picture of the hole in the wall and say, "I just found out X. I just found out Y. I just found out X." I think that's just I just want to highlight that. That was not documented photographic proof of the hole I punched in my wall years back. That is just a meme that goes around.